Hello everyone, welcome to my book review. We're doing a book review on Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. This is an enthralling biography by the Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple. This book was published October 4th, 2011, and the page count is 656 pages. In order to write this book, Walter interviewed Steve 40 different times and also included 100 interviews of Steve's close friends, colleagues, co-workers, and more. With all this information and data, Isaacson wrote this biography about the distinctive genius Steve Jobs himself. Steve's ferocious drive revolutionized 6 industries, including computers, animated movies, music, phones, tablet computing, and digital publishing. This book opens up with Steve Jobs' early life. He was raised by his adoptive parents in Cupertino, California, also known as Silicon Valley. In his youth, he was interested in engineering, but also had interests in other things. He actually dropped out of Reed College to actually work for a video game designing company in 1974. And with the money that he saved from this job, he actually went on a life-changing journey to go to India and learned about Buddhism. This is an integral part in the book because Steve Jobs unlocked new things about himself that he was not able to understand when he was living back in America. Steve changed his diet to a strict vegan diet and at one point raw fruit and vegetables only. Steve became very, very spiritual. He valued meditation, simplicity, and minimalism. He actually reflected this in his Apple products later on in the future. For example, he wanted all his Apple products to have this very specific shade of white. At the time, a lot of Microsoft products and other products had all black wiring, but Steve wanted to be unique and he picked white. He made sure all the silhouettes of all his computers and products had a very specific measure that was balanced by physics and art. And he made sure all his Apple stores had the best high quality wood, marble, and very simplistic minimal design. He also reflected these values in his personal life. He, in his home, had no furniture, and he wore the same iconic outfit, the black Japanese-style turtleneck, the light blue jeans, and the New Balance sneakers. Where the story starts with Steve and getting into technology, back in the Silicon Valley, Steve reconnects with Steven Wozniak. Wozniak was a former high school friend. Together, they built the Apple I in Steve's parents' garage. And this was just the beginning of the revolution of Apple. Steve had many artistic differences, Wozniak and other colleagues at Apple. So he left the company for several years. And while he was away, he created his own new businesses such as Lisa, Next, and Pixar. One of my favorite takeaways from this book was how creative and artistic Steve was as a person. He was persnickety, he was a control freak, which made him extremely difficult to work with. But Steve wanted every single thing in his life to be an aesthetic. Steve wanted every piece of his product to be a piece of art. He was vehement about the interior of each design. He wanted everything to have a very beautiful, neat layout. And some of his coworkers were very angry about this because they thought this was very unimportant details. But Steve believed if someone were to open up my product, he wants them to see that the details on the inside matter just as much as the outside. And I found this really inspiring. The small details like this create individuality and uniqueness. Additionally, the Apple products were always packaged very elegantly and very sleek. And even all the stores today have that beautiful minimal aesthetic. I recall when I was in middle school, I used to hang out at Apple stores all the time with my friends just because it had that very welcoming environment. It was very clean and very homey in a way. He really used technology and art to really come together and change the world. One of my favorite quotes from this book is the famous, "You cannot connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backward." My interpretation of this quote is, everything that you have done in the past will somehow connect you to the future. You have to trust your gut, your life, your will, or whatever it is. This was definitely one of my favorite books I've ever read, to be honest. I have many Apple products. I'm even filming this right now on an Apple product. I have a Mac. I've had MacBooks, iMacs. Although Steve was not the nicest man, he was very fastidious and very critical, but he had a dream and a vision and he went after it with full veracity and he truly changed the world. There's a quote that says, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that do." And Steve is that one. Thank you everyone for watching this book review on Steve Jobs. Please let me know if you want me to do any other book reviews. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.